All right. Not practicing today is Clyde. Personal excused. He's fine. Cam Jones is sick. Donovan Smith, McKinnon, and Kadarius. Everybody else will work.
Donovan Smith, Kadarius, and McKinnon. Is it the last three?
Cam Jones, Smith, McKinnon, Tony. Yes, sir.
McKinnon, Tony. Okay.
Got it. Yep, you're welcome.
How's everybody doing? Well, it looks like we got a little rain out there today. Hopefully we'll get outside. But all right, happy to be moving on to the next one. Looking forward to playing the Raiders. Big rival game. I hope we fare better playing a team for the second time this time around. And that's one of the things I talk to the guys about. You know, you play a team a second time, you got to notch it up even more. So with that, I'll just open it up.
Seen what Drew can do this year, and now that you have him back and all your linebackers back, what do you see as his role this year?
Drew's?
Yeah.
Well, similar, well, probably more than it was at the beginning of the year, but even at the beginning of the year, we were trying to get him in there in different packages. I think you saw last week that even though Nick was back, we got Drew in there for a couple of series at Mike linebacker, so we'll probably continue to do that. He's so flexible and versatile that we can use him in a number of different roles. And I tell you where else he's been great, since he's so up to what we're doing now. He was just in my office a little bit ago with a what if that I probably hadn't even thought of. But he's helpful that way too. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you probably don't see. That his value is tremendous to us. But we're going to try to get him out there in different packages and probably get him in there for Nick somewhere along the way to give Nick a little blow.
What do you think about this Raiders offense? I mean, down 1 week.
I know. Scary when you watch them in this last game. And listen, they went against a tough defense when they played Minnesota, so it was a little bit different for them. But for them to rebound like they did in a short week, I mean, it's a testament to the coaches, to their players. You guys know how I feel about the head coach there. And it gives them all kinds of confidence coming into Arrowhead, and we got to make sure that we're prepared for that. I mean, it's another game where they feel like if they can knock off the Chiefs, that sends them where they want to go. So we're going to get their best shot, I'm sure.
Steve, after the first couple drives in Vegas, you had told your team that it was stuff you guys were doing that was preventing your success. I don't know if it gives something away or maybe it doesn't, but I just wonder if you could expand on
What it was, or
Yeah.
not specifically what it was. I just thought we made some mistakes there that had we executed it the way we practiced, we might have been able to get off the field in those first couple of drives. Now, give them a little bit of credit too. The offense, they made some plays, and the quarterback got the ball to the proper receivers on particular pass plays. But that's probably typical of any of these games where we've allowed drives early. Usually it was somebody just out of whack a little bit, and we just got to settle in and be us just a lot sooner. We got to start faster.
What do you think is this group's ability? Because with Vegas and Green Bay was also kind of similar to where you were able to make adjustments within the game.
Yeah.
Is this group more able to do that?
You're talking about the players that.
Is this group's more able to do that than maybe?
I guess in some regards. I mean, I think I've shared this before. I feel like this is one of the more cerebral groups as a whole that we've had. The numbers of the guys that you'd put in that category seems to be higher, so that's helpful. The other thing is they these guys, I'm talking about the coaches and the players, everybody kind of responds to working together at something when, you know, our back's against the wall a little bit and we got to get something straightened out and right. These guys taking upon themselves, coaches and players, to get it right, and that's nice to have.
How concerning was it, just the attacking the second level with the tight end last game, and I guess how do you shore that up, make sure that?
Yeah, listen, we knew, I mean, we were trying to take away, you can't take away everything. That's the first part. And so we make decisions in the game where to go early. We did make a halftime adjustment for that specific situation. But, you know, unless it's you know, unless you got tight ends that are running 4-4s and 4-5s, they're going to open up the game. I mean, sometimes that happens and we got to line up and play defense again. If we're taking away the one that was supposed to go deep, I'm okay with that. Would we like to be tighter on some of that coverage? Yeah, but we'll pick our spots with what we're trying to take away.
I know we've talked a few times about turnovers, and you guys would like to force more, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you guys track, like, woulda, coulda, shoulda turnovers, ones that, like, drops for your guys? And
Oh yeah, those
more
are
this year?
MOBPs, missed opportunity at a big play. That gets recorded, and there's a column for that. We've had, I don't know, you know, even a missed sack is an MOBP because that's a big play that can turn it around. I'm trying to remember how many balls we may have knocked out and didn't come up with it. I mean, do you have a number or
I
no?
don't.
Yeah.
I just feel like that last week there was a ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Back, and it just kind of.
Yeah, they were right. Well, you could. I remember Trent had one in the Philadelphia game. Didn't we knock it out of the quarterbacks? And we just, you know, so there were some of those where, and when that does happen, we talk. I mean, we're always scooping and scoring in practice. I mean, it's a habit that we build. It just hasn't fallen our way yet. We hope to get a few of those.
Yesterday, Drew talked about the emphasis on the run game, and you filled the box against the Pats, and it worked out pretty well. Just what's it going to be like adjusting to the Raiders' run game?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go back and you look at the last game that we played against them. For the most part, other than that 63-yard run, we were good. Not great, but we were good, and probably could have survived the game. That one, but you can't. It all counts. So when you give up a 63-yard run, that's part of it. And it ended up 123 yards rushing, or whatever the average was. So we got to limit those. But the main emphasis will always be going into a game, especially a team like this, because we know the running back that they have. And by the way, when he was out last week, the other running back did a pretty good job too. So they know how to run the football. And if we don't find a way to stop it, my guess is that they'll continue to run. It felt like that the last time we played them, that they were committed to the run game. We know they're committed. They say it publicly, and so we better be committed to trying to stop it.
Last one, Nate.
Steve, I know based on circumstances, Felix hasn't gotten a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
What have you seen him improve on from the start of the season, and what would you like to
I'll
see
tell you what,
with
so-
more opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Joe and I are always talking about that. I go back to a little bit of a testament to the guys that are playing, because I think Mike and George and Charles have done a really good job. And then Leo gets in there, too, in that particular spot. But Felix is really coming along. Just the other day, I'll always ask these guys questions in the meeting. I give them homework tapes to watch, you know. I got to make sure they're watching them, right? So Felix was on it, you know, which is impressive because early on as a young rookie, you know, sometimes you miss those things. But I can see him in meetings fully intent. It's sinking in. He's getting it. He's waiting for his opportunity. And hopefully when he gets it, he can rise up and be everything we thought he would be.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, good? Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
What do you got to do to get Kadarius Toney back to what you hope he can be? What's that process like from this point?
Yeah, one of the things that we all understand is that you know, we are in a position where all these guys, we all want to do well for each other. So whether it's the wide receiver position, the quarterback position, or us as coaches, we want the best for one another. And however we get to that point, however the games go, what guys do, it's just a matter of staying positive as much as we can, and then making sure that we emphasize and talk about where we can be better, you know, and whoever that is on the team, that's what we do. And with KT, obviously, you know, he understands that the last play, you know, towards the end of the game with the interception, nobody's more frustrated than him, and we understand that, you know, he's got to make that catch. And as a team collectively, the way we've looked at it is we talked last week about starting fast and finishing strong. And we didn't finish strong as an offense those last 4 drives, whether it was punts or turnovers. You know, at the end of the game there, we took the victory, meaning the QB kneel. But, you know, we didn't finish strong. We had a 17-point advantage, and we gave them a momentum to get the touchdown. So we all want to be better.
What do you sense his confidence level is? I mean, you know, going through some of these things, is he someone who can kind of bounce back from this stuff?
I do, and you know, this is for everybody. You know, this is a profession that is always going to challenge you in many different ways. And I think today, in today's world with social media and just where that can go at times, whether it's the immediate right after a game or whether it's, you know, months and years later, it can still carry. So we all need to be mentally strong, and there's one way to do that, and that's by being together, by not pointing fingers. I do feel like that's a strength of ours. And I say that because when you fight through adversity, through the hard times, when you do well at the end of it and the storm goes away and the sun comes back out, you feel good that you stuck together. And so now, does that mean that there's not accountability for all of us? Yeah, that's a part of this business and everything that we do. So we know that day by day, play by play, game by game. So we're all accountable, and you know, KT will handle it just fine.
At some point, are you kind of what you are, or I know you don't believe that, coaches believe you can get better every day,
Yeah.
but at some point as a unit, you say, you know, maybe that's just us this year?
I think to that question, yeah, you build an identity of who you are. You start figuring out, okay, this is what our strengths and weaknesses are. If it's the same stuff that continues to happen, you're crazy to not say that, okay, this isn't who we are. At the same point in time, you still need to work towards fixing whatever those negatives are. So you're not content, you're not complacent with it. You got to understand that all that said, the big picture for us right now is we're in a great position heading into this game to do some good things moving forward. And in this game, you know, to do everything we can to win and win a division, you know, which is pretty good. So we keep that in mind, but there's hard work ahead of us. This Raiders team we're about to face is playing hard, and their head coach, Coach Pierce, does a great job at leading those guys. You can see how hard they play, and they're talented. So coming in here is going to be a challenge for them with our fans and our crowd. It's a major advantage for us, but this is a big game, and we know that.
From a wide lens, what do you make of this, I guess you'd call like a mini rivalry between Patrick and Max Crosby and going out back and forth?
Yeah, it's been fun to be a part of the last couple of years. I can remember Max when he was coming out of college and just seeing who he was and how he played then. A little smaller at the time. Now he's put on some weight and some strength and confidence and played great. So I think you see two ultimate competitors that are at the top of the league at their positions and their side of the ball. And so there's definitely a mutual respect between the two. But when you get between those lines on game day, none of it's ever personal. But I think it's cool to be on the sideline and see the fire that they have, but then also be on the field after the game and see the mutual respect they have for one another.
What was the? Go ahead. I'm sorry. What was the teaching point on Pat's first interception?
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is just making sure on any interception that you have is you want to make sure that are your eyes at the right spot, are your feet good. And I think for him, he understands that in these plays, no matter how or what it is, you want to be good with your eyes and your feet. And you know, for us, it just was, it was something that we talked about, getting your eyes and feet right and the guys running the right routes and you know, trying to stay away from it. Obviously, the last one was good accuracy, so I think that's probably, you know, what he's been focusing on.
When a guy like Clyde has the game like he did against the Patriots, especially in the passing game, is there, you know, the thought of trying to get him involved more, and, you know, and there was even the thought of, you know, him having playing the zebra like in the Super Bowl. I mean, is
Yeah.
the aspect of, hey, there's maybe a place so you can get him on the field?
He's able to play different positions. He has good hands. He's always had that going back to college. He can do good things. I'm impressed with the way he's handled his situation this year. You never know, and there's injuries, and you know we had that last week for him to come in and step up and make big plays. The throw that Pat made and the catch that Clyde made was really good. That was a big moment at that time. We needed that touchdown, and so he's just he can do that kind of stuff. He's smart. He can run the ball, do things in the pass game, and then more than anything is his confidence and his leadership skills have shown this year based on his situation.
Couple more.
Andy said he wanted to get Richie James more than at least 2 snaps. Obviously, he was overwhelmingly a slot guy last year in New York. Do you guys view him similarly, or do you view him as potentially being able to expand on the role he had?
He can play different roles in this offense. Different guys play different spots. You guys know that. I think he's good in the slot. When you're in the slot, you want to be able to have a feel with defenses and zones, and then you got to beat man inside and outside leverage. So he's done a good job. And I speak to Richie too, as he went through some injuries and now, you know, got back, and now I think he's handled his situation as a true professional. And you know, when opportunities come up, if, you know, coach says that about Richie and you get him chances, I think you'll see good things from him.
Coach, when you look at what Andy Reid did when you were in Chicago, and what he did with you here before, and what he's done the last 2 years, if you're a defensive coordinator, how do you prepare inside the 5-yard line with what you guys might run?
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say everybody knows it, and there's a lot of teams you can run into that you always know you got to prepare for something, and you don't know what it is and how you're going to deal with it. So, I think the beauty of coach is knowing when to call those plays and when to run them. At the same point in time, there's also the beauty of these guys. You want to keep this game fun too. It's a very business-like game, but I wish everybody in here could see the guys' faces when those plays get put in and seeing the excitement. And then you practice them. Sometimes they don't always go in you practice them that week. They don't go in for 5 weeks. So I think in those moments, it's fun. Coach has a great feel for what plays to put in, when to put them in, and then when to call them and when to use them. When they work, then you know that it builds a little bit of equity in when you want to install them. So and when they don't work, it can go the other ways. But coach has done a great job with that.
Last two.
I wanted to ask you about that first touchdown. Coach said it was from the 40s, I guess. I mean, what's your history with that play? Who brought it in? Patrick said it was his idea to
Yeah.
the center and all that stuff. How many months ago does that stuff like that?
We have a nice little library as a staff. Every coach on staff brings their part and brings things in, and so we have a file that we kind of use and look at when we feel like we want to, install one of those if we feel like it fits, And so I think then usually, and this has always been from the day I was with Coach from Philadelphia to my first time here with him, is once you present it to the guys, they put their sprinkle and spin on it. And that's what these guys did with that play, with changing the center and having Joe play center, ironically in New England. So the guys have fun with it. They love it, part of what I was saying before.
How many of those things ever see the light of day?
You know what it is? You guys have seen the ones that have, and I think back to the one year when Dontari Poe had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a catching touchdown in 1 year, receiving touchdown. But it's funny you say that, because it would be a fun project in the offseason to see the amount of plays we put in at certain times throughout the year that never get called and kind of just get thrown into outer space, and maybe bring those back.
Is that a big number?
I don't think it's very big, because, there's a little bit of, you can't do that all the time. But if you bring it out at the right time, it can be fun.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody, and getting ready for a big Christmas Day showdown with our rival, the Raiders. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
From beginning of the season to the end, behind the scenes of practice, what have you seen as far as the growth and development of Felix?
Well, I'll tell you, he really did a great job early in the year filling in when we had some guys down. You know, Chris wasn't here early, Charles with the suspension, and he's just been steady and he's continuing to develop, but he's done some good things.
What did you see from Charles this last game?
Charles played really steady. You know, he played physical in the run game. He was really good on his rushes, and I thought it was one of his best games.
So is there a technique to batting down a pass? Or is it just all instinct for a defensive lineman?
You know, I tell you, you can work on that all day, and we don't spend a lot of time, but Coach Spags really stresses it when guys are coming on pressures. What I stress with the D-line is if you're not getting there and you see the long arm separation, get your hand up. We have some guys that really have a good feel for that. George has a good feel, Chris, Mike Dana. Last year, Carlos did. I mean, they have some height, too, which helps. But just stressing when you're not getting there clean and the ball's getting out quick to get your hands up.
Georgie's having a really nice year, second year in. What have you seen from him as the season's gone on?
Well, I think if you go back to a year ago, you know, we had to play him early. He just kept getting better and better, and I think that trend has continued, and he works hard at his craft.
It's somewhat rare for position coaches to be caught on camera, but you had that moment a couple weeks ago with the Surface. I guess how much texts and calls and stuff did you hear about?
You know, from my wife and my daughters. But no, those. I mean, I'm a very high energy, intense guy. So is Chris. I love Chris, and sometimes the heat of the moment, but it's all competitive energy. And it was over. Next play.
Did that Microsoft Surface survive?
It did. It did. I dropped that pretty hard, but it did survive.
What do you see from the Raiders this week? His second time through seeing him, and it wasn't all that long ago?
Well, I'll tell you, Coach Pierce has done a great job getting those guys to play hard, and do what they do well. They made some changes in what they were doing. I mean, but really, when you have number 8, you get Josh Jacobs. I mean, you're going to give him the ball as much as you can, and that kind of got things rolling for them. They've had 3 games well over 100 yards, and we had a hard time with him the last time, so we have to have all hands on deck to stop him. And then you get Adams on the outside and the speed at receivers. They've done a great job, and I think the quarterback is really doing a nice job, not only managing the game but getting the ball out fast and getting it to the people they want him to get it to.
Last one, Matt.
Coach, Mike Pennell's the guy that came here in 2019 and provided a spark. Now he's back. Saw his first action last week. What do you think about Mike Pennell and what he brings to your room?
Well, Mike's done a great job. I kind of go back to last year when we brought Brandon Williams here, who I had in Baltimore. Mike's been in the battles. He's played 10 years in the league, and Mike was getting better and better and better as Matt has gotten better. And it was just an opportunity to get him up, see what he could do, and he did a nice job of it.
Thank you, everybody.
I appreciate it. Happy holidays.
things that the defense hasn't done a fantastic job, I guess, this year is actually forcing turnovers, probably not as many as you want. What are your coaching points with the guys in the defensive backfield about taking the ball away?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same every week. You try to make sure that the guys go through fundamentals as far as punching and raking at the ball. You know, as far as the interceptions and tip passes, you have those come in bunches sometimes, and then there are games where you don't have them at all. But as far as causing turnovers, we can do a better job at actually attacking the ball. That would help us out for sure. And so fundamentally, every week we do some drills where we are attacking the football, trying to rake it out, trying to punch it out. And so hopefully it's going to turn into a bunch of them coming up here starting this week.
How do the coaching points maybe shifted when the assignment is someone like a Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson up ahead, or does it not shift it really at all?
No, it shifts. Those guys are game changers. Those guys are game wreckers for defensive coordinators. And so everyone has to be on high alert for those potential stars that are on the other opposing team. And so, but no, it shifts as far as, you know, you're talking, you get them anywhere close to the core. If a D lineman can hit them, you hit them. If a linebacker can hit them, you hit them. If a corner can hit them, safety hit them, you try to hit them. You try to at least bruise them up a little bit. Hopefully they can just keep them out wide so the quarterback has to throw in a tight window. But you try to make sure everyone knows where is Waldo. There he is over there. And so that's what we do. Dave,
What have you seen in Shamari Connor just his development during the year?
Yeah, Shamari is number one, he's a quiet young man, but at the same time, he has some bite to him. And one day I remember talking to him, and I made a comment, and he made a little mumble up under his breath. And I said, "What's that? What did you say?" And he repeated it, which is good, because a lot of times a child would be like, "Nothing, nothing." He repeated it. And so, but he is a young man who has been playing multiple roles for us. I'm talking from safety, free and strong, to nickel, to dime. He's probably the only rookie that I've ever had that has played 4 different positions, because that's what he's doing. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've had another guy that have done that. And so, but super smart young man, quiet, but at the same time, like I said, he has some bite to him. So he's developing, he's growing where we would like for him to grow. What was it about? I mean, was it OTAs that you noticed he might be able to do that? No, not at all. OTAs, I was like, man, this guy stinks. He can't go in the slot. There's no way. Then all of a sudden, he started just climbing. I think it was more so once you started putting him in the game, and he started feeling comfortable early part of the preseason games. And then you started seeing that, okay, he has some explosiveness, he has some movement skills that can be used, and let's see if we can use this. We had a package back when Spags and I were back a long time ago at the Giants. We called it a 3 safety package. And that's what role that he's in right now, is that 3 safety package. And so it's doing a good job.
Dave, you guys obviously liked Legarius. You drafted
Yes,
him
sir.
a few years ago. But is it fair or accurate to say that maybe he's grown beyond what you thought his ceiling would be at the time?
Yeah, he has. And, you know, the trajectory that Ladarius has gone on is you want every player to come in here and have that ascending flight. And he came in here, first of all, another quiet man who was struggling to learn the system, where we had him playing in the slot, if you guys remember when he first got here, because we had Ward and, of course, Breland outside. And so, but he has taken leaps and bounds the past year and a half, maybe the past 2 years, that I and Spags, we thought that he would take. But this year he's taken it up even another level. In my opinion, he's probably, if not the best press corner in the league, he should be considered as one of the top 2. And I don't see him as a number 2. And so, but I think this young man, the ceiling is still, all right, it's so far ahead of him, and he has so much room to grow when it comes to zone coverages and things of that nature. And so, but he's doing a fantastic job.
The physical part of his game, did you see that?
Yes.
In college?
Only because he played safety.
Yeah.
And then when you see a guy that's going to come down and he has the ability to tackle in the open space,
But what I didn't see was his ability to be ready to bounce back from adversity. So if a lot of guys, if they get beat, and we've had some guys, and I've coached some guys over the decades, whereas if they get beat, some of the guys are going to a shell, and you have to help them out to try to bring them back out. It's okay to come out of your room. Come on, it's all right. LJ doesn't do that. LJ bounces back right away. You make a catch on him, he gets pissed off. He's ready to now go back and challenge you again to show everybody that no, that's not going to happen again. And so, but his ability to be able to bounce back is uncanny. And I haven't had a guy like him.
Last one, Matt.
When you lose a guy like Brian Cook, what kind of adjustments do you go through, and especially with maybe some of the new wrinkles that offense are going to throw at you?
Losing a guy like Brian Cook, the beautiful thing, what we do here is we have walkthroughs and we have two separate groups that are going at the same time. And a lot of times when I've gone to places, you have one walkthrough, the backups are just sitting there and they're just watching. They're just watching. Well, no, we don't do that here. So we have everyone working. I mean, we get the trainers, we get Sid, we grab Ted, anybody come over here, run a route, go run a route for us, and we have all of our players working. And so the fact that we have done that since we've been here, it has allowed the next man to step up. Deion Bush was ready to go. You're talking, Shamari goes down and plays multiple roles. And so having those two separate walkthroughs allows us to get more done. And backups are always preparing and practicing.
I'm going to ask you a fun one. Your son keeps getting college offers. What's the number up to now? What's it like here? He's a year away.
He's up there, and so, but I'm happy for him, and Mama Bear's happy for him, and so, but it's a beautiful thing. It really is. He's a good kid, and my daughter Drea, don't forget her. So, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Ace.
We saw some of the footage on the sideline after Willie's interception. He didn't score. You guys got on a little bit. What was it like in film study when he didn't get that shoulder down to score?
Yeah, probably a little bit similar. Thankfully, the offense was able to punch that one in for us. But yeah, would love great play by him. Great play. Love to see him finish it in the end zone. You know, it's a little bit of a running joke when Willie works in practice. He's a horrible running back as the look guy. Showed it on the field.
Now that Drew is back, but you have everybody else back, what do you see his role as? How do you use him, utilize him, that sort of thing?
Yeah, you know what? He's become really versatile for us in terms of the way we can use him. His football IQ allows him to do that at a high level. We'll see how that goes. You know, even with Nick back last week, you know, he's still going to rotate in there some. You know, he does a number of different things for us. We're going to continue to get him on the field. He's going to help us.
Coach, it seems like Leo has taken a real big step this year. What have you seen from him from year one to year two?
He has. I would agree with that statement. I would say the game has slowed down for him a little bit in terms of his processing. You know, last year as a rookie, you're coming in. We had him in a number of different positions. It was spinning fast for him. You could see like a lot of the physicality. You could see him do some things from a skill set standpoint. And he played well for us. I would say he's taken a step this year. He's able to handle more mentally. He's able to process faster. He doesn't make many repeat errors. That was the case a year ago, although there were a lot of corrections that were going on. You're seeing the accumulation of all of those reps to where he's got a really good foundation underneath of him now.
He didn't play a lot of on-ball in college and everything, but you're getting him more and more this year. What's kind of got into that evolution of him?
Yeah, it's an interesting statement, and it's a good observation. I would say when we evaluated him on college tape, you didn't see much of that, but you saw a lot of the physical traits that might lend themselves to being good in those roles. And he's become that. You know, he's as good up on the line of scrimmage as most defensive ends in this league in terms of setting the edge and being physical in the run game. He's capable as an edge rusher there. I think those will continue to grow as he gets more reps and opportunities at it, to be honest.
You coach D-line too. I mean, as far as Leo's strength, where does he kind of rank in guys that you've coached?
High, extremely. The other thing that shouldn't be discredited for him, he plays with really good leverage. He's a natural knee bender. He does a great job creating separation and extension with his arms. So there's a combination of things. He is strong, but he also plays with really good technique and fundamentals.
How important is it to have Nick back, particularly for this week against the Raiders? He was not there last time around with the way they run the football.
Yeah, I mean, always good to have Nick back. You know, we lean on him so much for leadership, for communication. You know, he is a great presence out there. I think he brings a comfort level to everybody else on the field. He allows other guys to play fast because he's able to recognize and pre-snap communicate things so well. So it's always good to have him back.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Fire away, what you got?
Obviously, you knew a lot about Wanya from coaching for a few months now, but you learned anything since he's gone into the lineup from these, 3 games or whatever it's been, since he's been in the lineup? You learned anything about him?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch him compete. And so you always wonder, and you know what kind of ability he has. He's super talented, all kinds of ability, bright future. What's he going to be like under the bright lights in the moment? And I think he's handled himself really well, and that's been fun to watch.
What are the biggest challenges for this week, this game against the Raiders, and what they can bring on the defensive line?
Well, you know, certainly Max Crosby is as good as there is and as disruptive as there is. You can see on their defense that they're playing hard and with heart. I mean, Coach has them going now. And then you mix into that, you know, the whole Chiefs-Raiders rivalry thing. So it's going to be a great challenge for us.
With the new guys outside and Wanya mixing in too, what do you feel like this group is in pass protection as far as, you know, picking up and passing off and communication, transition there?
Yeah, I mean, that's an important element, the communication, knowing the guy next to you, and so that takes some time now. These guys have all been working with each other for the better part of a year and through training camp, so we expect that to, you know, continue to progress and get better. You know, we plug a new guy in over there, Wanya next to Joe. I mean, Joe's pro's pro over there, and he's been communicating and working really well with Wanya. Trey and Jawan, you know, this year they're new together, so that's been a process, making sure, hey, if we got a vertical set, we're vertical setting so we can handle games and things like that. So it's never as good as you want it to be, and so that's what we work on day in and day out.
Leading into the decision to insert Wanya there, what specific technique areas did you see him improve on from training camp to that leading him into that game?
I thought he did a nice job with some of his run blocking. Wasn't perfect, but he did a good job of dropping his hips, getting his hands inside, his eyes up, and then, you know, working to finish. Some, you know, a guy's not going to stay blocked forever, and so he's trying to disengage from a block. Can you drop your hips, adjust, and finish that block?
What's been the process of bringing Jawan in and getting him doing what you guys do?
Well, I mean, it started in OTAs with, you know, meetings, hey, chalkboard, getting out on the field a little bit with fundamentals, and we may be asking him to do something a little bit different than he had done in his past. And then, you know, it's just constant, watch the tape, correct, drill it, got to drill, fix it, watch the tape, you know, it's just wash and repeat.
How did Tooney grade out as a center?
I think he got 100% on that one. Yeah, he delivered a nice snap. You know, I think he was probably a Pro Bowl center one year in his career, so I had a lot of confidence in his ability to do that. That was fun.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot.
playoffs. But
Go for Coach Embree.
Obviously, there's been a couple issues with some drops and things with Kadarius
Yeah.
here. What have you seen from him this last couple of weeks and his confidence level and how you guys are coaching him?
Good. He's been doing good, and that's one thing I love about KT. He doesn't let all the noise or any of that get to him. He's still the same person every day, and we love that about him. And he's working hard. He's still working hard, doing everything he's supposed to do, and that's him. So we like that.
Connor, why hasn't he lived up to the expectations you guys had for him this year, so far at least?
I wouldn't say it's like he hasn't lived up to the expectations. There's just been a couple plays throughout the season that it just happened to be, a big situation or something, and he might have had an error. So I think it looks worse than his actual season as a whole. Because when I grade him out in games and stuff, it's not like he's getting an F grade every game. So I think it's more just kind of situational, when it happened, where it happened, that type of stuff.
I assume part of your process is trying to figure out that part of the why it happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, how do you assess why a guy drops a pass late in a game like that?
That's probably the hardest thing, or the thing that keeps coaches up the most is, you hear it all the time. People talk about, like, you remember the losses more than the wins. So it's the same type of thing. I don't think you can just, point to one thing of why he's doing this or why it's happening. It's not from a lack of effort. I think more of it is from he's trying to make plays. He's trying to catch the ball or, move before he has the ball. So it's not anything other than that, him out there trying to make plays for our team. So, again, it's not from the lack of effort or the lack of want to.
Coach said he wants to see more opportunities for Richie. What do you think that he can do and with those added opportunities?
Yeah, no, Richie's been great. He's been great in our room. He's a great leader. He helps the young guys out a lot. He helps 4 out. But he'll play Sunday and he'll get his shots. And we like to move everyone around, and everyone has to know every spot out there. So yeah, I'm excited for Richie. I know he's excited. He's been working hard, kind of behind the scenes. When you're injured or not, you kind of have to do stuff on your own. So he's been working hard, been in the meeting room, in the playbook still. So I'm excited for him.
How important, I'm sure it's a coaching point every week, in the football, right? But the
Yeah.
Raiders really were getting after the ball against the Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
And raking it out, playing
Yeah.
through the whistle.
No, that's good. And I think more, there's some teams that do it better than others, or it's you can see it on film, I guess, more than others. But yeah, that's every game. We gotta the ball is the goal. You gotta have the ball. So we always harping on that, talking about it. We work ball security drills all the time, and yeah, it's just if someone sees, the week before you get the ball punched out, they're gonna all be trying to punch the ball out. So you got to make sure you hold it high and tight.
This is your first year as a position coach. How's the experience been? What have you kind of learned about yourself and the job in the process?
Yeah, it's been great. I've learned a lot. It's been there's been some ups and downs, some challenges, good stuff, all that. I think that anyone's first year in the NFL kind of has. But it's been good. I love it. I love doing what I do. I have a passion for this. I grew up in the football business. My dad's a coach. My uncle's a coach. So, I went to school and I knew I wanted to be a coach. So, I majored in general studies because they don't have coaching degrees. So whatever's the easiest so I could get out and go be a coach. So.
Last one, Adam.
Connor, you guys obviously like Rashid, you drafted him this year, but is it fair to say that maybe he's gone beyond what you thought he would give you as a rookie this year?
Yeah, he's done great. It's hard on anyone to play in the NFL, let alone a rookie. The thing I like about him is he works hard, and then he lets me coach him hard. So he's fine with me getting on him. He's fine. He just wants to get better. And I try to challenge him every day in some type of way, whether, you know, sending them an article talking about who's the best rookie wideout out there or whatnot, just to try to keep them motivated and keep them going, because it's hard for rookies. Like, you just thinking about it, he went from playing his last senior year into the combine, into the draft process, into getting here, and so he hasn't really had a break in over a year. So, but he's done great, and like I said, I like his attitude, his work ethic, and he's playing. I mean, it's showing. He's working hard in practice, and it's showing up in the game.
Do you have specific examples of things you've gotten on him about that he's?
I can't really think of one specific thing right now, but I just know if he messes up on something, I tell him he gets it fixed, and that's all you want as a coach. Is if I tell you, hey, I'm fine with you messing up, especially as a rookie, but don't do the same thing twice. So, and he doesn't.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Connor. Merry Christmas.